It says it's 8:25. I don't know why my computer is always 5 minutes slow. It's so annoying.
That's wrong. It just hit 8:30.
Right on time.
Just so you know. Hey,
right
gang.
on time.
Hey, gang. By that I mean, hey, James.
Hey, gang.
Hey, low gang. Can we call our
Hello, gang. We're going to eventually... I was about to say, yeah, what are we going to call our fan base? Because we have to come up with one sooner or later, you know.
Yeah, I think low gang is probably... Sorry,
Low gang, it's got a nice ring to it, but it is unfortunately taken. And I also don't want to be associated with that at all.
By whom? No, I think it should be named something like similar to one of the villain teams, like a similar name, like Team something.
Team something. Yeah. That's got legs to it, that idea, but I don't know where it's going to land just yet.
Yeah. Seeing as we only just thought about this idea. It's a great way to start the stream, though, with a bit of preamble.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Perfection. Team Y is good.
Team Y.
Why?
Team Y. Why?
Is it my turn to do the introduction?
I think I did it last time, so I'm going to say yes, it's your turn.
Well, welcome to Pokemon X and Team Y. I'm Brendan.
Ooh, little spicy little twist on that one. I'm Bianca.
And this is our last episode together, at the very least, for 2 months. Are you going?
Yeah, 2 whole months.
Wow.
So make the most of it while you can, everybody. Soak up my pearls of Pokemon wisdom.
Pokemon Pearls of Pokemon Wisdom.
Pokemon pearls. Yeah. Soak up my Pokemon clan pearls.
Your Pokemon. Oh, so good. So good. On fire
So
already.
good. That's what I'm here for, you know. That's what I'm here for.
Hopefully we'll have an episode next week, though. Hopefully Kieran's on board to have a chat. I think your videos...
Special guest.
I think our video is a bit wacky.
Videos.
It's my connection problem, though.
Oh, okay. That's all right. As long as it's not sort of frozen completely.
No.
That would be good.
I think, it's just
Okay,
stirring a little bit. So obviously we had so much shit to talk about. I tried to get as much out of the way. Not so much out of the way. I mean, I tried to decide what we wanted to talk about. But obviously yesterday there was a big press conference about there's four Pokemon products being announced. And we had a bit of a conversation before the stream starts. We were talking about whether to do a segment or not on all the new Pokemon stuff that got announced. And I think there was a conversation to be had about whether we're going to be providing Pokemon news. And we both agreed that that's not what this is, which is good. But it's only if there's something that we really want to talk about in particular, because we can't get bogged down with news every single time. In saying that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the announcements, but only the sort of things that are I was interested in.
Only the things that we are interested in, because this is our show.
Yeah, it's mostly
we get to decide these things.
Pokemon Company doesn't. But just real quick, Pokemon shirts. I was like, that's sick, but no word on whether you can get them in Australia. So fuck it.
No, I think it's Japan only for the moment, which I swear to, it's always like this. It's always Japan only for the really cool stuff, and I'm not here for it.
Yeah,
you know? I'm just not here for it.
That costs $100 as well, by the way.
Whoa!
Yes.
I changed my mind. I don't care anymore.
Yeah. I would love to make that
very cool, but holy shit, 100.
There's Pokemon Home, which you're going to be talking about a bit later, just a little bit. I think that's the only thing that I might actually be a customer of. Pokemon Sleep, which you can every joke that's been made, you could make about it has already been made, and it was made within the first 2 minutes of it being announced.
Yeah, it has been done.
Yeah, but I'm probably not going to play it. I might give it a little look. But if this was a show about Nintendo, we could go on a bit of a tangent about how Nintendo. Maybe I should do this at some point in the future. Maybe not for this stream because it's not relevant. But about how after the Wii U started to flop, Nintendo was like, we're thinking about pivoting and being a health company. It's like, ooh, I don't know about that.
That's quite a turn to take.
Yeah, and then the Switch came out, and that's okay. There's also that Pokemon gacha game. I don't really know what a gacha game is, but what I do know about gacha games is that they're basically like just designed around making whales, customers into whales, and just getting them to spend money and shit.
Yeah, I don't know anything really about it either because there's been very little that's been shared about that game. But the thing that it reminded me of was Fire Emblem Heroes.
Yep.
Yeah, and I remember I installed that because I was like, "Oh, Fire Emblem, this looks cool," and then I was like, "Oh, I hate it."
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's a gacha game. Yeah. But so. I did see a good tweet about it. This is going to introduce us to the fun segment that I teased earlier. So, Twitter user TrueOngasm. I'm pretty sure she is a video editor. I follow her and it's a bunch of videos for YouTubers that I like. But she put out this question into the universe, which is list the top 5 trainers you would whale for, which means like spend a lot of money on.
Spend all your money on.
It's a horrible term, and it is it's disgusting to know that some game companies actually use that term, which is fucking horrific. But anyway, so I had a little think about it, and I put together 5. So these are the top 5, the first 5 that actually came into my head. I'm happy with. I'm dead set on 3 of them. I thought about some better options afterwards, but I was like, let's talk about these. So you may also come up with your own. So let's start from the top corner. Lorelei. I mean, that's obviously the funniest picture I could find because what is happening to her right tit?
That's just how physics works. That's just how it works.
That's how titty physics work. Misty, I was like, gotta have Misty in there, a classic.
Misty would be on my list. The minute I saw this and I realized what the segment was, Misty's on my list too.
Yeah, fair. Claire, she's the 8th gym leader in Gen 2, and she's just fucking rad. I really like her design as well. A lot of thigh action going on in these pictures.
Yes.
Inspired by May.
Yes.
I love Claire's. She's wearing a bodysuit that shows off her thighs. However, she is wearing giant boots.
Yeah, enormous fucking go-go boots. I love them.
Yeah. Next up.
Not really go-go boots, but they're good.
Yeah. The only male I've realised, which is Trainer Joey. He loves shorts.
They're comfy.
There was There was something above his head that said something about how he liked shorts. I don't know where it went. That's weird. Anyway. And then obviously MVP Cynthia. You got to do it to him. There's a bit of a theme here.
Do it to him. Get a dab on that. Little bit of a theme. Yeah, for sure. But that's okay. It's okay.
The theme is everyone loves shorts.
Yes, everyone loves shorts except for Cynthia. Mm-hmm. She likes to wear those fucking power pants.
Yes.
Who you said that you came up with some better ideas afterwards. Who's getting dropped and who's getting subbed in this ultimate team of 6?
I think Misty could get dropped, and I think Claire could get dropped as well. Shorts boys are definite. Mm-hmm. Cynthia's a definite. Lorelei's a definite. And Lorelei might be a bit weird, but I think one of the first conversations I had with my old roommate was about joking about getting horny for Lorelei. It just brings back good memories.
Yeah.
Also, that titty pic. Sure. What's going on there?
What is going on there? I know. It's so. Lorelei is one of my favorites, though. I will say, like, I didn't really because we've discussed this before, but I didn't really get super into like. I've never played any of the Gen 1 games myself, but then when I played Let's Go and then I got up to Lorelei and she's fucking sitting there and she's sort of leaning back like this on the fucking Lapras. She was so fucking cool.
Exactly.
Oh my god. So cool.
Tsundere as hell.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And completely unapologetic about it.
Yeah. Also, all I googled was Pokemon Misty. Number 1 suggestion, shorts. Number 2, inflation. And it's like, it's very quick. Very quick.
Doesn't take long.
No.
It really doesn't take long.
So the original poster, I think everyone just calls her Mum or Mom because they're Americans. But she counted up the votes for the first 151 people that responded, which is good. And she made a graphic as well. So here is the results. Before I do that though, would you like to hazard a guess at who's in the top 3? Maybe 5. There's some really good ones I forgot that I would like to include in mine, but yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because as we've been talking, I've just pulled up a list of every gym leader, every Elite Four, like every sort of named Pokemon trainer. So the ones that I think could be in there, either Jasmine or Whitney. Probably, probably not Whitney so much because there's a lot of repressed memories that everyone has from her Miltank. But Jasmine could be in there. I would believe that.
I was going to put Jasmine in there, by the way.
Yeah, I like Jasmine. Everyone likes Jasmine. But one of Lorelai and Misty has to be in there. Has to. I won't believe it otherwise.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, Cynthia. I mean, obviously.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Goth Gia.
I'll allow it.
Number 2, Anne. I forgot.
Everyone Goth Gia.
I probably would have included Anne in my list if I remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah, Anne's cool. 3, Sabrina. That makes a lot of sense because it's like Gen 1. And also she has some damn good episodes in the anime as well.
Yeah.
Steven was another...
Hex Maniac? Are you fucking serious? Hex Maniac makes it onto this list? What are you talking about?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? You're all wrong. I'm sorry.
I don't remember who all of these are. I remember Flannery. That's actually it from those ones. Down in the corner.
Yeah.
I know who Elisa is. She's cool. But Guzma. I was like, fuck, I should have included him.
Yeah. I believe that. I believe him in there. Yeah. I'm very surprised that Lorelai or Misty. I was for sure thinking that they would.
I don't know how that happened. Anyway.
I'm surprised that everyone's dad Giovanni isn't there, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, he's kind of a cunt though.
At least Gus must have supplanted him as the villain that everybody loves.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he has
2 thumbs up in the background. He loves Cosma.
Yeah. That's fair. He raps without any audio, which is an incredible skill.
Incredible achievement for mankind, you know. Yeah. Team Skull were a big hit, and Gus was a good. Gus was good.
Fuck that.
The whole aesthetic was awesome.
Yeah, they're actually the best villain group of all, like hands down.
Yeah, they are. One of the things that has actually been suggested to me as a topic to do by Mitch is to rank all of the different teams, all of the different villain teams. And I know for sure that Team Skull would be top, if not close to the very top for me, just because they're very cool and I like them a lot. I like their.
And they revel in how shit they are.
In the audio. Yeah.
That's cool. We know cool.
Yeah.
Should we go on to the main event though? Your topic.
Ooh, let's. I'm very excited to talk about this one. Mm-hmm. It's funny, just on the topic of Team Skull too, I actually ordered some cards online the other day. Got this full art one of Team Skull grunts, and it's very, very cool.
Oh.
I might get it out later.
Nice.
It looks really cool. It's one of my favorites.
Nice.
But yeah, let's move on to the gimmick. Actually, no, here we go. I'll just do it now. While we're on the topic instead of random.
All right.
Because I want to show off all my Pokemon.
Don't want to keep us in suspense.
I do. Okay, so let me just bring up so I can see the camera.
While Bianca's doing this,
is what it looks like.
Never mind. Oh, that's awesome.
See. Yeah, it's really, really, really fucking cool. It's a shame my camera's not so good because it's going to get blurrier the closer I put it. But it's full hollow. It's really, really, really cool.
That's so rad.
I'm a big fan of that one.
Yeah, we were going to start this with some ABBA, but I reminded Bianca that Twitch doesn't like that shit.
Copyright exists.
I feel like if there's any... I mean,
it's fair use, but whatever, let's not risk it. It is
fair. I feel like if there's like a handful of musicians that you would get flagged for immediately, ABBA would be in their top 10 at least.
ABBA would be one of them. Yeah, it would definitely be one of them. So as we go through this, I'll just encourage anybody watching along, feel free to open up Gimme 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 by ABBA, by Guzma. Background. By Guzma. By Guzma covering ABBA. Oh, that would be such a mood. So feel free to listen to it in the background because I was planning on having this playing for the first little bit. Basically, what I wanted to talk about, and it was prompted in large part by a Twitter thread that I saw, which I only saw because of Ray. So thank you, Ray, for liking a tweet that I saw about weird and gimmicky ways in which obtaining Pokemon were sort of stonewalled and made difficult, mostly artificially. And I thought that was really interesting in just the ways that some games just had really obnoxiously difficult, stupid, one-off, silly ways of getting a Pokemon, especially if A, the Pokemon isn't even that good, and B, if it was a one-off, they just sort of abandoned for later generations because obviously it wasn't such a good idea. So the history of Pokemon mainline RPGs is littered with all these really weird mechanics that they've introduced. So I just wanted to be really clear that I'm trying to focus specifically on game mechanics and not so much weird gimmick Pokemon like a Mr. Mime or a Ditto or something where they only have one trick to them really. So this is just about game mechanics. Without further ado, I'll crack on. I've done it per gen, basically. Just per gen, just which generation introduced, and then we can go chronologically. So start off with the best. Now, to my knowledge, short of the Pokeflute, which I only remembered just before starting the show, there aren't any really weird ways that you have to get Pokemon. And I've not even included the Pokeflute. I didn't even update this presentation to include it because it's in other games. Like, it's not something they just did once and then abandoned. And it also kind of like makes sense in the other ones don't make a lot of sense. Yeah. Like, you play a flute because you play some music to wake up a sleeping Snorlax. That makes sense. Other ones make no sense whatsoever. So there's that.
Does that make sense though?
The only two things. I mean, well, no, it makes the bar is low.
The bar is very low. If that's where we're starting.
Bar is very low. Yeah, I'm setting the bar extremely low. So the only really notable things is obviously Missing No, because what the fuck? Like, that's just an insane. Firstly, I love the fact that it exists and that people perfected it down to an art of do this in this order, in this place, press start, exit the conversation, walk down this way, blah, blah, blah. Bang, you've got a weird glitch Pokemon that very clearly was leftover programming that wasn't supposed to exist. And that's why it looks like a horrifying QR code.
Yes.
Because obviously that one in the top right, the top left is what everyone would think of when we talk about Missing No, but then all these other sprites that you see here, very keen to do another episode on this. I've seen them through this website called, I think it's Helix Chamber or something, and they do a lot of digging up on what the code of original games and demo versions and stuff looked like, and basically that weird skeleton Kabutops and skeleton Aerodactyl were like originally in there as sprites as some other form of what they would look like before they eventually changed it to be the sprites that we know and love. Sorry, go on.
Are they not the sprites that are in the Pewter City Museum or Space Center or whatever it is? And you look around at the parks?
Possibly.
I think that's what they are.
Yeah.
So they are in the game.
That's possible. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But they still get put in the. There's ways to engineer them so that you can make, because of course there's ways to engineer the game to make them the sprites for other things. Which again, I want to do a whole episode on this because there's this that website. I think it's a website or a Twitter account called Helix Chamber, have all this stuff where they've engineered the game to do these weird things and dig up these weird concept Pokemon and really, really, really early versions of what Pokemon were going to look like, and it's really interesting.
I was going to say we should just do an episode on Missing No at some point, because I was about to launch into the explanation as to why Missing No is a thing. But
yes,
I don't think it would take that long. Yeah, but let's just wait.
Yeah. I don't know too much about it, so I'd be very keen for you to run that and tell me all about it.
I can just briefly say you can thank Iwata for that. However, you can thank Iwata for the game actually being made, so that's
yes, we can thank Iwata for so many things.
Well, the game literally wouldn't have come out if Iwata wasn't there to fix it, but we'll wait for the Missing No episode. Also, when I was a kid, I called him Missing Go. I don't know why. That was stupid.
We can call it Missing Go on the show. But the only other thing that I obviously wanted to point out is just how they fucked the balancing in this game. Obviously, when Gen 1 came out, everyone knows that you could. It was way overpowered. Alakazam was like the single strongest Pokemon that you could have, because the way the typing worked and the way that the only counters to Ghost were Poison. Don't quote me on this. I don't really know how the whole Ghost, Poison, Psychic triangle of countering each other works, but one of them was immune to the other, and then there was no valid Pokemon that could really counter them. There wasn't any good move sets, so just led to Alakazam being crazy overpowered, which is hilarious on its own, but also it seems like a pretty easy one to solve.
So it's actually it's they're weak to bug Pokemon, and then bug Pokemon weak to poison, poison weak to psychic. But there's like a handful of bug Pokemon in the game, and they all suck. And there's like 2 bug moves, and they all suck.
Gotta love Pin Missile. It's my favorite bug move.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. You'll note too, in the top right corner of every slide, I put a little screenshot from a poll that I saw in on a Game Informer thread, or Game FAQs thread that I was reading when I was looking at, I was trying to do some research for this, and basically there was this thread being like, what was your favorite generation of, and then these were the examples given in terms of the weird gimmicks that they introduced. So the Generation 1 gimmick option was Fuck Blissey, I've got Alakazam, which I just thought was really funny. I've included what person put up as their options to choose from in this Game FAQs thread in all the rest of the slides.
Excellent.
So
some excellent slides coming
so
up.
There wasn't. Oh yeah, there are. I'm very excited about some of the later ones. But so Gen 1 was a little light on in the sort of content that I'm talking about. But Gen 2, I'll go to Gen 2 unless you want to talk about anything specifically in Gen 1.
Oh, good.
Okay, awesome. So Gen 2 is absolutely fucking loaded with the sort of things I want to talk about. So Gen 2, there's lots of things. But the first thing, and I feel like it's the prime example of what I'm intending to talk about, is the headbutt tree mechanic. Headbutt tree mechanic is just a sentence on its own that we shouldn't really need to, it sounds weird and silly and I don't like it. For anyone who doesn't know, in Generation 2, which is Gold and Silver as well, and it carried over into Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so they kept it intentionally, but it has not been used in any other game, just those ones, is the fact that you could walk up to those weird little trees. You can see in the thing there with a guy on the bike, is standing next to one of these little trees. And if you had a Pokemon with the move Headbutt in your party, you could headbutt the tree, and a Pokemon would fall out. Maybe. Sometimes wasn't guaranteed. There's down below you'll see that text-filled screenshot. Yeah, that's the mechanics of whether or not you're going to get something in your tree. It's very silly.
Every headbuttable tree can be associated with an index from 0 to 9, depending on... Too many. Index equals bracket x times y plus x plus y over 5 percentage 10. Fuck me. Just give me a Heracross, you dumb bitch.
Yeah. It was headbutting trees was the only way to get Heracross. The only way to get Heracross. It was a very like it was like 5% chance on certain trees, I think. So it was a 5% chance to drop it only on the long count of trees, which is determined. It's fucking stupid. Just to illustrate how silly this whole mechanic was, I know I talked about this before. I had gold. It was my first game. I played the absolute fucking shit out of it because I didn't have a game of Pokemon between gold and black. I just had gold. So I played a lot of gold. I thought I knew all the secrets of gold. Let me tell you something. I didn't know that Heracross was introduced in Gen 2 because I never fucking saw a Heracross in my life. I thought it was a Gen 3 or 4 Pokemon, and then I googled it and I was like, Heracross was in Gen 2. What the fuck? And then I looked, then doing this, I was like, holy shit, this is why I never got it, because I didn't spend my entire life headbutting trees in the hope that I would get fucking Heracross. Because I headbutted trees, but I kept getting like execute, and I got a Caterpie, or I got a fucking Metapod or something, and I was like, this sucks, headbutting trees sucks, I can catch these Pokemon out in the world, what's the point?
You know who did spend their life
headbutting trees?
Do you know who did spend their life headbutting trees trying to find a Heracross?
Who's that?
Fucking, I think Heracross is rad, and they didn't explain. I remember in the guide that I had, they were like, "Oh, just headbutt some trees, you might find a Heracross." It's like, that's not. I mean, technically that's correct, but you should tell us that there's a 5% chance and only on certain trees. I bought the strategy guide for a fucking reason.
Yeah, I know, right? It's so like, really gets my goat, stuff like that. Like needlessly complicated way of getting Pokemon, and also it's the only way to get one certain Pokemon, which is really cool. Fuck headbutting trees. There's a reason why it never came back. I
only just sort of started thinking about how weird that is. It's like, oh yeah, a tree, just headbutt it and a Pokemon will fall out.
What the fuck?
I didn't think about that until just now.
Like, do people do that in real life? Is this based on some Japanese folklore of, if you headbutt the tree, maybe something will come out of the tree and it'll give you good luck? Maybe that's the case. But
it probably is that, yeah.
It's stupid because, headbutting trees will probably give you a concussion if you do it too many times. So don't do it.
Concussion, Heracross.
I mean, I think I know what I'd prefer long term.
Long-term Heracross.
Long-term Heracross.
Bianca, what do you know about bug catching?
So I know lots about bug catching because whilst I definitely shied away from headbutting trees, I was in on the fucking bug catching contest. I loved it. I thought it was really cool. Just a nice, cool little thing. It made use of the new thing which was on the Game Boy Color, which was that it had a clock. It had an internal clock, and it would know what day of the week it was. It had day-night cycle, and there were days and times and stuff. So it was only on certain days in the week, which was a nice little thing, and it also didn't bother me because I didn't seem to care about that sort of thing. It would probably bother me now if it was like, fuck, it's not Tuesday, fuck me, I want to do some bug catching. When I was a kid, I didn't care about these things. I thought it was very cool. It also wasn't as nearly as difficult as like the catch rates weren't as stupid as they were for, say, headbutting trees, because whilst it also sort of gate-kept Scyther and Pinsir, who were both, well, one's significantly more rad than the other, but they're both cool Pokemon.
Which one is it?
Yeah. I don't want to offend anybody by saying that Pinsir isn't exactly the coolest kid on the block, but Scyther's fucking rad. And it being the only way to get Scyther was not such a big... It doesn't really get my goat. I love that turn of phrase. It doesn't really get my goat in the same way that headbutting trees did. I got the Scyther. They were quite easy to get, really, if you just took your time and you just did it. You would get one. Same with Pinsir. It was actually very easy to get Pinsir. And I don't dislike to the family of bug type Pokemon just being put in there in a similar way to how we would split families of Pokemon between between Gold and Silver or whatever. So I'm hard on the bug catching, and also I'm very big on the bug catching music. I didn't include it here. I just thought of that now. I just was thinking about the music that played. It was really cool because it was a unique bug catching theme, and you could talk to other people that were NPCs rather than were in the bug catching arena, and they'd be like, "Fuck off! I'm trying to catch a pinsir. Go away! Like, leave me alone. I'm busy."
I was just thinking about back in the day when NPCs in games and Pokemon as well were rude. Now in every Pokemon game, like, all the NPCs are really nice and they'll give you tips. But back in the day, people weren't afraid to just tell you to fuck off.
Yeah, I know.
You know who else really loved bug catching?
Is it you? Oh, yeah.
I did so much bug catching.
Yeah.
Even when I didn't need to.
Big fan of bug catching.
Well,
bug catching.
You know the creator of Pokemon, whose name escapes me. I think his last name is Tajiri. He was inspired to make Pokemon because he was an avid bug catcher. He wanted to sort of make.
That's why there's so many fucking bug Pokemon.
Yeah. Why they didn't just eliminate bug.
Just gonna. Yeah. I know, because I'm not a huge fan of bug Pokemon. This has come up before on stream, I swear.
Yes.
Like, they're not up there in my favorite typing list. But I was very into the bug catching contest just because of the way that it worked. I just really, really liked it, and I really liked the Johto National Park that it was in. Like that was the map is shaped like
the big
ball, so all the grass is in. Yeah, it's really nice. It's really nice. It's just a nice place to go and visit. So
I have such vivid memories of these things. From me. Ticks are also bugs, coincidentally.
I didn't even plan that one.
Actually, sorry to interrupt once again, but by the time you get back, I should have MBN, and we should stop talking over the top of each other after that, so that should be nice.
Oh, thank God. I'm so excited. So excited. It's because it's so egregious whenever I watch it back. I'm like, fuck, why don't we just talk over the top of each other? Or there's like a really awkward silence where you say something and then I just don't react. And then it looks like I'm fake reacting. I'm really not. I'm reacting in real time with me. Like, you say something funny, I laugh immediately. But then you obviously don't hear it for another second. And it just is like, I'm just kind of making it up and being like, oh, yeah, that was really funny. That's not the case. You're very funny.
I know.
Oh, I know. I shouldn't have said that. Now you know.
Now I've got a big head on me.
Yeah. So the third thing I want to talk about is the squirt bottle. Caps. You know, the bug catching contest is in regular fucking letters. Squirt bottle is in all caps.
Squirt bottle.
It's squirt bottle. Fucking squirt bottle. It is a literal roadblock to you once you want to try and go past Goldenrod City. You cannot go past Goldenrod City because the only way north out of the biggest fucking city in the entire game is this one-person wide pathway that a weird tree has planted itself in, and we just can't get by. And now nobody can go north. Nobody from the north can go south. Nobody from the other side of Goldenrod City can go west. You just completely fucking ruined the transport of an entire nation because of this one tree. So firstly, extremely poor planning on the part of the Johto government.
This would be like someone blocked up the Panama Canal.
It's exactly what it would be like. It would be like, but not even like someone blocking it. Like, just imagine like a big rock appeared there. It was too big to go around, and someone's like, "Oh, there's a weird rock blocking it. We don't know what to do. We just don't know what to do, guys. I'm sorry, there's a rock. Maybe it'll go away."
I know what to do. We need a squirt bottle.
A squirt bottle. See, this is the thing. After you beat Misty's gym, you can go into this house, and then she's like, "Oh, well done on beating the gym. I'm watering my flowers. Here, you should try watering things with this squirt bottle that I'm giving you right now. Why don't you go and try and water that thing that's up there? I'm sure that will have a good effect."
I mean, obviously...
Why would you know that? Why would you just go and water it yourself, you idiot? Do you have jobs to do in other cities? Come on.
And what if you have a Totodile already who can squirt water as much as it wants?
He knows fucking water gun. I could have done this for you. I don't need a squirt bottle to squirt water. I have a water Pokemon. I have a Totodile. I could have caught many Pokemon. I could have caught a fucking Goldeen that knows water gun right now.
I have a living water gun in my pocket right now. So obviously, the squirt bottle in Sudderwood, it's like supposed to be a sort of next version or iteration of the Snorlax in the path and the Pokey Flute. And for that reason, whenever I would play this, I would always include Sudowoodo in my party afterwards, because I assumed it was awesome like Snorlax is. But it's really not very good. It's very good as like for the next gym, and then that's it.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, especially because I don't know what it was, but I felt like every time I got up to this, especially when I was much younger, I just got dunked on because I didn't really have anything to deal with rock at that point. And especially like if I had picked Cyndaquil, I would just get wrecked. And obviously, because you rely so heavily on your start, I'm like, fuck, now I need to find a fucking water Pokemon. If you got Totodile, it's easy money.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. Sudowoodo is such a weird Pokemon. I don't dislike him at all, but he's so weird, and his little Bonsley boy is so weird. And James makes a good point. The Squirtbottle. Sorry, James. He wants you to pronounce Sudowoodo again.
I call it Sudowoodo. That's it, Sudowoodo.
Oh, I say Sudowoodo.
Nope.
All right, only one of us can be correct. And this time I have a feeling that I might be correct.
Oh, okay.
But who knows? I've always said Sudowoodo. It's like Sudowoodo because it's like every syllable rhymes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, James says we're both wrong. Well, fuck you. I don't care.
Yeah. Pseudo. That's what Bianca said.
No, I'd say Sudowoodo. Like,
oh yeah, no, that's wrong.
Is another, yeah.
Isn't that the Prime Minister of Indonesia?
Woodo.
No, that's
no, that's Chikowi.
Also, Sudowoodo, which is the correct pronunciation. The tree Pokemon. What sort of Pokemon is this? Is it a grass type Pokemon? No. Oh, a rock Pokemon. No. Oh, that's stupid.
No.
Oh.
No, it's fucking stupid. But now, like, and I don't want to sound like an idiot, but like pseudo, like fake, wood-o. It's actually quite clever. But
yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. Sudowoodo. I'm not saying it the way you want me to, James. I don't care. I am going to be talking about Sudowoodo again later in this. He gets 2 appearances in this. He's part of 2 gimmicks.
Fuck. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's move on because we're only on Gen 2. I'm talking
about the Squirtbottle.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Okay, I remember what you're talking. What the next one is.
Yeah. And also unknowns. We won't go there. That's just what the fuck. I don't really want to talk about unknowns.
No.
I just included them in there because like they were just weirdly put in there to have the unknown ruins, and then they just sort of moved on with their lives. So whatever. Gen 3.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play Gen 3, but these are the 3 things I think are worth talking about from Gen 3.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 is base building, which I read a lot about and sounds really cool. Number 2 was bike riding, specifically the acro bike, because I understand there were 2 different types of bikes. There's the Mac bike and the acro bike. I'm specifically wanting to talk about the acro bike. And the third thing is the introduction of contests and ribbons and like things being cute and all that sort of stuff. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about this.
Okay.
I have nothing to say other than it looks really cool and I don't know anything about it.
Sure, I will start. So base building is you had to use the move Secret Power, and there are all these spots all around the map, and they're very obvious. I believe trees, you could see a little vine coming down, and then there would be holes in the wall. You see a little indentation, and you could use a Pokemon with Secret Power, and it would open up this small little room, and you could collect items and different things to decorate your base. I really loved it. I think the idea was supposed to sort of be well, I think they expanded on it in the remakes, but you could sort of build your own gym, I think is the idea. Which is really cool, but I just wanted to build like a cool little base, and I spent a lot of time on it. It's, you can buy like plushies of Pokemon and stuff from the store and stuff. It's ultimately useless. I don't think you could get anything like gameplay, like an advantage or anything like that, but it's very cute.
It didn't return though in any other games.
No,
like they obviously in the remakes did. They just sort of did it, which seems like it. I know you say like make your own gym, which is very appealing, but player housing in any game makes people go, bloody bananas. People love player housing.
Oh, yeah.
People love the idea that I can have my own house, build all this stuff. So it seems very surprising that they didn't ever revisit this, because it seems really cool.
People have tried to monetize their MMOs entirely out of player housing.
Sorry, I just lost your audio.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that's just me.
Companies have tried to...
Oh, no, I can hear you now. Yeah.
Okay. Companies have tried to monetize entire MMOs out of player housing.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking when I said, like, people go bananas for player housing. Specifically, people who play MMOs will go bananas for player housing. But that's because player housing in any game is rad.
Mm-hmm.
Very quick sidebar. Do you agree or disagree with me that RuneScape has the best player housing system?
I've literally no idea what RuneScape's player housing system is like. I didn't even know it had one.
Oh, well, it does. It's the best one. So.
I did not play RuneScape for an extended amount of time. When I did play RuneScape, I was literally 10, and it was probably for a couple of months. I'm now 26, so it was a long time ago.
I never really had membership. But I remember my friend had membership, and she had it because you had to have membership to have a house, and so she had this house. And I was being able to see her house was really, really, really fucking cool, and the way you could do it was really. So you used all your. Don't want to get too into this. You used all your skills in the game to contribute towards stuff in your house. So if you wanted to make a decoration out of stone, you had to have a good. I don't know, mining thing to make stone. It was cool the way that it was actually relevant to have other skills to make your thing.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Somebody also said Final Fantasy 14. Final Fantasy 14 has excellent player housing. It's much more visually appealing than RuneScape, that's for sure. But it also costs several million in-game dollars. So fuck that.
So I talk about bike riding. So in Gen 3, there were 2 bikes. One of them is a macro bike, which goes really fast. And it's the one you obviously want to use all the time because you want to save time because time is fleeting and the universe is going to explode.
You got things to do.
And then you can get that acro bike, which lets you jump, which lets you go to these little platforms to go to different places. And there are Pokemon that you need this to do. And it's very cool. However, the problem is you can't have both of them at the same time. If you want to swap to the acro bike, you have to fly all the way to this town and then ask someone to swap them out, which makes it really, really annoying. There's also certain bases you can only access with the acro bike. But that's that. Do you have any awareness of what the contests were? Because I did a lot of the contest stuff. It's really fun, actually.
So my main knowledge of the contests comes from the anime. In that they're it's like an alternative to gyms. If you don't want to battle, you could basically enter your Pokemon to this contest, and it was about how cute they were, and there was all these different metrics and certain moves. You wouldn't want necessarily the most powerful moves, you'd want cute moves. I never really, I obviously didn't have Gen 3. I know this sort of didn't come into other games, so I never really got them, but I that's how I understood them, as a bit of an alternative. So having a shitload of ribbons from contests was like the equivalent of having a shitload of gym badges. Yes, so there's actually
there's actually quite a bit of strategy involved in trying to win these contests. They're actually really fun. It's like the moves that they have, as you mentioned, they're either cute, beautiful, tough, cool. That might be it. There might be another one. I don't know. Yes, but it's four Pokemon versing each other, and you go in turns down the list, and there's quite a bit of strategy involved because you can move the order of where you are on the list with certain moves. There's, as I said, quite a bit involved. I can't get stuck into it at the moment because I did not prepare, but very cool. I can't remember what the reward is either.
Springing this on you.
No, that's okay. That's fine.
Oh, smart. Joe's saying smart.
Smart. That's it.
The fire. This is RuneScape X and Y. This show is whatever I damn well want it to be. It can be RuneScape X and Y if I want it. Just kidding. It's Pokemon X and Y. We're talking about Pokemon. Just a little quick sidebar.
Yeah. But in terms of mechanics of getting Pokemon, yes, I believe one of the Regis you had to get the acro bike, so that fits in.
Yeah. The Regis again, I'm not from personal knowledge, but from all the research I did, the Regis are notorious for having needlessly complicated methods of obtaining them in almost every game. I read a couple and they sounded really stupid and I didn't understand a lot of it. And I was like, for Pokemon that look the way they do, which is not cool, I'm not here for it. I'm not here for it.
Wow, controversial. I like
controversial.
I like Registeel. Do I? I don't know.
Do you?
Let's move on.
Which one's that one?
The steel one.
They all look the same. That's the problem, you know. I have Regirock in Pokemon Go, and it was the first time I ever entered a raid and did it. And I was like, this is what I get. This is what I fucking get for all this effort.
Thanks,
I walked from my office to the other side of Hyde Park, which is not that far, but it was enough that I had to make a point to go there. I was like, you know what? I've got a bit of an extended lunch break. Maybe I'll go to this Pokemon raid. And I did it, and I was like, I got a fucking Regirock.
A Reggie can.
Waste of my time.
Should we move on to Gen 4?
Yes, let's. So.
Oh, yes.
In the same... Yeah. So firstly, I know you've got some things to say about Spiritomb. But I'll leave that to the side because I really want to talk about fucking Munchlax. In a very similar fashion to the Headbutt trees, they had these other trees in Gen 4 that you could put honey on or something, and it would potentially give you a cool Pokemon.
Never did.
You'll see here the maths required to get a Munchlax tree, because there were only ever 4 Munchlax trees that had a chance to give you Munchlax. And this is the maths that was required to do it. It depends on your trainer ID and your secret ID, which are 2 bytes each. Something about the lower byte, something about the higher byte. Do some maths, 21%. If this is equal to that, then do this. If they're all equal, then this, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's stupid. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you make this so complicated? Just make it fucking RNG. Just make it RNG.
Just make it a flat percentage chance.
Yes. I don't know why it's so hard. They can just make a random number generator like this one's the Munchlax tree. Instead, they need to do some bloody big brain maths between my trainer ID percentages times each other to, if it's equal or greater than this one, then it's that tree. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they did this. It just seems needlessly complicated. And Munchlax, of all Pokemon, like, yes, it turns into a Snorlax, but like, cool, you know? I just don't love Snorlax that much. It just seems weird that they would obfuscate the method of obtaining it this much. Like, is it really that much of a really wow, awesome moment where you're like, holy shit, I got a Munchlax. This is insane.
I personally think Munchlax
time ever.
sucks.
Oh my god, a Munchlax. I found... Yeah.
Sorry,
anyway,
I talked over you there.
So that's Munchlax. No, that's okay. That's okay. I'm done talking about Munchlax anyway.
So I can talk a bit about Spiritomb. I can't remember exactly, but luckily it's in this tweet. So Gen 4 was the last time I ever attempted to get a full Dex. I was in year 11 at the time, so the year would have been 2009. And it requires online connectivity, which is fucked, because even back then I was aware of the fact that one day it's not going to be possible to do this because the online capability is not going to be around for that long. And I remember reading how to do it, and I was like, fuck this, my Pokedex will go incomplete. I'm not going to even try to fucking bother with this bullshit. Because it requires some sort of online connectivity, some bullshit. Stupid. Yeah. I'm not bitter.
Anything
I'm not bitter.
Requires online. No, not at all. I would never presume to tell you that you're bitter about it. It just seems like, and like, why? Like, why?
Wow.
To get it in Heart Gold Soul Silver, why? You need to take 100,000 watts, and then do this thing, and then walk another 10,000 steps. Like, why? Why? That doesn't make any sense. Why is that the method of obtaining it? Why?
I'm pretty sure there was some law reason, but I can't for the life of me remember what it was. I do think Spiritomb is...
A law reason can't have been that good.
No, I can't remember. Yeah. That's true. Actually, I thought it looked cool at the time, but in hindsight, it looks like a big garbage. It looks terrible. It's one of the worst designed Pokemon I've ever seen, to be quite honest. Why did I ever think this was good? I'm going to bring it up, by the way.
Oh, yeah, the Pokemon.
It's kind of a big garbage boy.
Why?
Why?
Why? I'm glad we're all talking. We're all very clear memories of that one video.
That one vine.
Yep. That one vine.
So there's more Gen 4 stuff.
Right. There is more Gen 4 stuff. It's much in the same vein as the Munchlax thing, in that, so, Feebas, firstly, what an ugly little boy.
That's the point, though. That's the point.
I know it's the point, but it's just like, I won't get too much into it, but it's just like Magikarp. Like, he's just a little dumb little fish that no one likes, then he turns into a really fucking badass cool one. We've done it. Anyway. You wanted, but you bought Diamond and Pearl, you're feeling really good about it, you love Milotic or Milotic, I don't know how to say it, and you really want it, and you think, oh, this is fine, it's just like Gyarados again, I'll just get a Magikarp, this whatever the Magikarp's called, Phoebus, it's called Phoebus, whatever, I'll just get Magikarp 2.0. Here's the thing, you can't. It's not like Magikarp where there's hundreds of them, you just grind it up a lot. You don't just go and get Phoebus, like, you don't just go fishing and think, oh, I'd like to get Phoebus. It's only catchable from one area, which is in Coronet or Coronet, I don't know, and it's only got 4 specific tiles in the entire lake, which would spawn Phoebus. They changed every single fucking day. Why would that be the case?
Because fuck you, that's why.
Because fuck you. That's the only logical answer. Imagine trying to get a Milotic and not knowing that this was how it worked. What the fuck? Like, what do you do with that? It's just so crazy, you know?
I do specifically remember finding a way to cheese getting Phoebus to spawn in a particular location in Gen 3. Gen 4, though, fuck that. Changes every day.
It changes every day, yeah, because you can see in that thing, like, they change in Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald whenever the trend in a certain town changes, which that doesn't make any sense, by the way. Why would Phoebus move their spot because a trend in another town changed? They're the most well-connected fish in the entire fucking ocean.
They're the biggest hipsters.
You know, there's a new fashion thing in there. Well, I better swim over to this part of the town, like, whatever, you know. But
do you know what the trends are in Gen 3?
No, I don't.
Trends are like, I can't remember all the mechanics of how it worked, but there's, hang on, Inner West pause. Oh, it's still gone. There's like, I'm trying to remember exactly how it come back to me, but I'm pretty sure it was like 2 words, and it's like you could put them together. Like, there's this big list of words, and it's like, what do you think is cool? And then you pick out these 2 words and combine them together, and then all the characters are like, oh yeah, that's cool. This thing, that's hip and new, and they sort of talk about it as a nebulous concept because you can put whatever words you want in there, and people are just like, yeah, this thing is cool. So obviously you can put really funny ones in there. It was really weird, and I think the only mechanical reason for it was for spawning fucking Phoebus. So there you go.
Oh man, so yeah, so you wouldn't look it, but he's actually an extremely fashionable fish. You know?
He's a fash fish.
He's a fash fish.
Melodic is fucking sick though.
All right. Yeah. Hey, sorry, I cropped it so it would look good. When you viewed it. Because I was trying to bring it back up. Cool as hell. Yeah, I'll put it. I'll picture it of Melodic.
I can't wait.
Because it's so.
The anticipation is building.
Bang. There we go.
It's coming. Here it is. Feebas is moving out of the way. There we go.
There we go. We did it.
All these fucking Gen 5 ones are coming back to me, so let's talk about that. There's a lot of
let's talk
fucking
about this.
shit.
So, yeah, there's a lot of fucking shit. So, there was stuff actually in the game that I could have talked about. There's that weird fucking Pokemon that eats dreams or something that comes up right at the start, and it talks about the dream link and the dream something.
Dream. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, it's very yeah. It's tied into the dream world. Don't ask me to explain it. And then there's the global link, and then you've got the Sea Gear, and then you've got the Dream Radar, and then you've got the Pokemon musical, and blah 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 blah. Why would they? This is like typical Nintendo. I just like keep fucking Nintendo. You can't just have a fucking service that supports your game. You have to have all these disparate ones that no one asked for that are really, they don't communicate with each other at all. They all do different things. It's like, you know what it is? It's like Nintendo invented microservices, right? But they didn't figure out how to make them talk to each other.
Or make money off them.
You and I are only going to really care about. Yeah, they never got that far. They were just like, oh, I know, let's just make all these weird one-off things that don't do one thing. Great idea. Great, brilliant. Now we've got 6 fucking supporting services for Pokemon Black and White and Black and White 2 that we're going to abandon as soon as we start making a new game.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. All these services I'd be fine with them if it wasn't for the fact that they just abandon them as soon as the next game comes out. But we can make another technology joke, is that they're building all these data silos and then just abandoning them.
Yeah, they're building data silos when they needed to be building a data lake. That's what they needed to be doing.
Nice data lake on some AWS. AWS fucking love their data lakes.
The global link, though, I am a huge fan of, because it's just let you trade, and that's what gave birth to something that we've talked about before, which is the list of censored words, because they invented trading system, and then there had to, of course, be the family-friendly filter put on it, so you couldn't even trade a Pokemon such as Probopass because it had the word "arse" in it.
You couldn't trade Feebas either. Oh no, wait, that's only one.
No, you couldn't trade Feeb.
Wait, how many S's? I can't. Whatever. We already talked about this.
Feebas would have been okay. We have already talked about this. Let's not go back over it. The wheelhouse in my data lake. That's what they were missing. Fucking wheelhouse. Makes me think of steering committees, and I really don't want to talk about this anymore because I'm done. Anyway, this whole slide is fucking what not to do. And
I don't even remember what all these things do.
Me neither, to be perfectly honest. The Sea Gear was like the in-game name for how you connect to things wirelessly, but then like the Pokemon Global Link was the name for connecting to something to trade to it. The Dream World was some sort of,
what the fuck? This is what
I don't know. It was a dream world. You had to go online and you had to put your Pokemon in there, and you could encounter people you could encounter Pokemon in the dream world maybe. Then there was the Dream Radar. Sorry, the Dream Radar was a first-person shooter.
Yes, I remember that.
On the Dream World. I didn't really play that very much though. And then Pokemon Musical, I have no idea what that is, but apparently it exists. Oh, James, you don't even talk to me about champions groups. Do you have centers of excellence as well? Fuck that. I hate this bloody terminology.
We're here to talk about fucking Pokemon.
Anyway, we're here to talk about Pokemon, alright? I'm going to get away from all these extra services that are reminding me of my day job, so let's move on to Gen 6. Because the only thing actually I'll say on Gen 5 is that thankfully it seems like Nintendo has learned from the lesson, because Pokemon Home works with all the different iterations that they've had. They've got the Pokemon Bank, the Global Link, the Pokemon Box, the this, the that, the whatever, and now they're going to just have one way that you can put all your Pokemon in there. So I think it's possible that every gen, it's a game from every gen, it's possible to connect to Pokemon Home. So you can have every Pokemon in there theoretically, which is a very good idea. It's a shame that they're doing this now. And not like 10 years ago, you know. So
10 years ago, but yeah, fucking hell. But what do you reckon the odds are of next gen? It's like we've come up with a new cloud storage service for Pokemon. It connects to Pokemon Home.
Now we've got the Pokemon. Oh my god! Now I've got the Pokemon. I was about to say Pokemon Mansion. It's like
that's what.
Home, but then that's the thing. Yeah.
What a mansion.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Anyway, I want to move on to Gen 6. And this is where you'll start to see I've included some more screen grabs of the Twitter thread in particular, which is this user Ryan, who is at TKOWL. And in Gen 6, there wasn't really anything particularly interesting. There's something that you'll see on the left to do with the bases in the remakes of Gen 3, which are technically part of Gen 6, so I'm including them. And this is Gen 6 is X and Y. So they introduced Megas, which is not a gimmick in and of itself because they kept that. Like, that continues. It continues. They introduced the fairy type, which I'm not including here because, again, it was like it was a big change that was ongoing, not just these random off things. So they didn't really, X and Y didn't really have anything in terms of the same sorts of things that we've been talking about previously. But what X and Y did have is just fucking absurdly low. Oh my gosh, you are all wrecked up. We were talking about this earlier, Tommy. He's been reading a Guying Guide. He's going to be a warm boy soon. They just had all of these stupidly designed, like, really, really, really low percentage chances of something cool happening, and then most of the time they weren't even that cool. Like a 1% chance of finding a level 40 a bomber scope. Like, why? Why would you even put that on the table? Like, who would encounter that and be like, oh my god? You're just gonna be like, oh my god, what the fuck? Why is this thing here? Why am I encountering this? It doesn't make any sense.
It's like how it's very similar to how in Gen 1. In a West pause. It's similar had in Gen 1, if you go into the Diglett cave, you can find like a level 32 Dugtrio, even though all the Pokemon around there are like level 16, and it can push your shit in. And like in the last Bulbapedia, not Bulbapedia, in the last Nuzlocke run that I did, a fucking Dugtrio destroyed my poor Meowth, and I was very upset. Which I had named after my real life cat, I'll have you know.
Oh my god, that would have been traumatic.
Yes.
Oh man, I feel you. Naming your Pokemon after things that are too real for you, and then you get really attached to them. When they faint, I get really upset. I just get really upset when my Pokemon faint to begin with, let alone when I have all this stuff. What do you mean you don't watch our VODs? Tell me, watch them all immediately.
What's wrong with you? They're so good.
What's wrong with you? Yeah. And then just a good example of, like, in one game, they'll hand something out like candy, and in another game, they'll be like, no, complete these absurdly difficult tasks in order to receive it. Like Garchompite, you just get it. You just go and get it. You go and talk to somebody at the right time, and then you get it. And then in Omega Ruby, you have to get platinum rank for secret bases, which, not having played any of these games, I'm like, okay, yeah.
I don't know what that means either.
1,000 flags. I assume that means you had to go and get 1,000 decorations for your secret base. That is stupid as fuck. Why would you have to who would do that? Why is that why?
Garchomp is very, very closely associated with flags and secret bases, so, you know.
That's what I'm saying. Who's sitting there holding the Garchompite being like, oh, you don't have 1,000 flags? Fuck you, actually. I'm not giving you any of this. I'm sorry. This is for platinum secret base users, this small rock that'll allow you your Garchomp to Hulk out. I'm not giving it to you unless you get me 1,000 flags.
Get it out of here, little golden base pleb boy with 999 flags. I refuse to give you Garchompite, this meteorite that looks like a Garchomp.
Stupid idiot. Who do you think you are coming in here demanding a Garchompite?
Well played, boy.
Like, it's just, I mean, and this is within the same generation. Like, X and Y and Omega Ruby Alpha are in the same generation. This is one game, here you go. The other game, fuck you.
Fuck you.
I can't. Fuck you. I've got some more in Gen 6 in the same vein.
Yeah.
And including, he's back.
Right. He's back.
He's back.
A boy.
Back. He's back. Sudowoodo. He's back. The only way to get Sudowoodo in X and Y is if he randomly appears when a bunch of Trevenant ambush you. That's it. Look at him. He's got that dumb little smile on his face. He thinks he's Trevenant. He's just hanging out with these other trees. He's the rock Pokemon. He's like, oh yeah, I'm a tree. I'm a tree. Look at me. I'm part of the tree group. Yeah, cool.
I mean, that is cute though, because it is a joke. Like, I do like this.
I know it is. It's very, very cool. It's more that it's the only way to get him. You just have to get lucky.
Yeah.
Like, if it was just a cool little thing that happened and it was a nice little moment that Sudowoodo appeared, but like, it's the only way to get him. Like, if you want to have a Sudowoodo, that's it. You better get lucky. You better have this happen to you, because otherwise you're not getting him.
You're just like your father. James, I think you might be right, by the way, with Sudowoodo. Yeah, I think it might. However, that's not going to stop me from saying Sudowoodo. Because the way...
You're correct, but I also don't care.
If there was a P, if his name started with a P, I would have been totally on board with calling it Sudowoodo. That makes sense. However, you can't have a U and a double O, both with U sounds in it, in the same generation and in the same name, and expect me to play ball. Fuck you. Not you, James. I mean Pokemon.
Yeah. Rotom. You can only get Rotoms in X and Y by digging in a trash can on a Tuesday.
Oh, I get it.
Why the fuck? Like,
I know.
I get it, right? But on a Tuesday? In the bins?
Do you get it?
No, probably not.
Apparently Tuesday is a very common bin night.
Oh, okay.
Is Tuesday bin night for you?
Oh. No, Monday's bin night for me.
Oh, there you go. Mine's Tuesday night.
Tuesday's bin day.
Yeah,
okay. Oh, okay, alright. Okay, well that sort of makes sense. Well, this is just something that's discriminatory against those of us who don't have bin night on a Tuesday.
Discriminatory against Tuesdays.
Against Tuesdays. You know what they should have done? They should have started the game kind of like how in Earthbound they ask you to enter in details.
When's bin night?
When's bin night for you?
Yes. Absolutely.
And then then later on there's some scripted dialogue where she's like, bin night here is on a Tuesday.
Tuesday.
There's some interesting stuff in the bins on a Tuesday.
Please let us know in the chat. What night's bin night for you? I am interested.
Yeah, what night's bin night?
I mean, I assume because we live sort of close to each other, but not directly next to each other, that it wouldn't be the same. So, but I'm pretty sure that Tuesday night is a typical bin night for most people.
Before I lived in where I currently live, I lived in one of these, like a big apartment. It wasn't that big, but a big apartment building. And I had no fucking idea what bin night was, because we just all put everyone's bin went into this one big mega bin in the car park, in like it was this underground car park area, and then like they just randomly got emptied, and I don't know when, I don't know how, I don't know who, I don't know any details. So bin night is such a novel experience for me. I remember to take my own bloody bins out.
So yeah, right. I think I only just realised that with Rotom, and I sort of like that now. However, you shouldn't just chuck your appliances in the bin. The e-waste is a massive problem, and you should recycle that shit.
You should recycle them. Take them to your local e-waste recycling centre.
Yes, I'll drop it in the bin. One of the e-waste bins at your local, I don't know, wherever you are.
God, just trying to be a responsible citizen, you know?
My parents have e-waste bins in their shop, so I'm around it. Anyway, let's move on. That's not interesting. Let's go.
Let's go. Let's talk more about Gen 7.
Yeah.
So Gen 7, Sun and Moon. And you see in the top corner, which I've neglected to talk about at all, but Z-moves. Z-moves to me, I am very interested to see what happens to these, because will they carry over? Because I can see them wanting to just do away with it, because it's this weird dance that you've got to do to make your guy go do his thing, which is cute. I saw it in the anime and it was very, very cute.
When they caught all the Pikachu.
Also, yes. But like, I don't know if they're going to hang on to it. I wouldn't be surprised if they got rid of it. So that's sort of, the jury is out on Z moves as to whether or not it would be in here. But I am including these fucking absurd, very, 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 very low chance encounters, or very niche ways of getting things. So the first is to get a Salamence at level 12, because you can get to you can see Bagon on a certain route, except only 1% of the time. They're an extremely rare encounter, and then if they call for help, they have a 1% chance of calling in a Salamence. So it's like 1%. It's less than 1% of 1% because you're not a guaranteed SOS every time. So it's a stupidly low chance, but it is technically possible to get Salamence at level 12. I don't know why you would ever feel like you would need to put this in the game. Like, for the one person that it happens for, they're going to be like, what the fuck? Why do I have a Salamence at level 12? Like, you know? It's just very much like, why did you do this?
This next one, though, fucking shocks me. I didn't know about this. What the fuck?
Yeah. So if you want to have that form of Lycanroc, because we've talked about Lycanroc on our furry episode.
Oh, yes.
If you want that one, if you want the Dusk form, you have to have the special ability Rockruff, and you have to evolve it at 5 o'clock in the fucking morning. So why?
It's called Dusk Lycanroc. It's not called 5 in the morning Lycanroc.
Listen, when I get up at like 6:30, it's like not even sunrise yet. Like sunrise is at like 10 to 7. Why don't make it 10 to 7 in the morning? I can get up in the morning and evolve it, and then as the sun is rising, then I get my Dusk Lycanroc. It doesn't make any sense.
But why isn't it? Dusk is in the afternoon, though, isn't it?
Oh yeah, no, I completely missed that too.
Yeah.
It's fucking dusk. You can do it in the morning. It's dawn.
Yeah. Yes, that's the point I was trying to make.
Yeah, no, I'm just here I am getting hung up about whether it was not 5 o'clock in the morning or fucking 7 o'clock in the morning. It's supposed to be 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
I'll get up at 5 a.m. to evolve a Pokemon. No problems there. However, calling it the wrong thing, for shame. However.
Absolutely not.
Actually.
On my watch. Actually. So yeah, those are the only really, like, because there's a lot to talk about with Sun and Moon because they tried a lot of different things. So I feel like once it's confirmed that these aren't continuing into next gen, this would be a much longer set of slides for Gen 7 because the whole way that they did gyms, or lack thereof, in this generation, the way that they did totally different land masses instead of just one big land mass and maybe a few islands. Like the whole structure of the game was very different, which I actually was a big fan of them trying something different. But who knows what will be in Pokemon Sword and Shield? I know we will soon because there's going to be some more information coming next month, so I'm super excited about. But until then, this is all just speculation.
We're getting a Nintendo Direct.
We are super excited. There's one more thing in Gen 7 though, which is I hope you don't like Weavile. I really genuinely hope you don't, because you have to get the Razor Claw to allow you to evolve it. You have to find it on a 5% chance in a certain line of Pokemon, which is already a rare encounter. So you have to get the rare encounter and then hope that it's holding the item that you need to evolve your Weavile. So in much the same way that it's just like sort of a random payoff that is not very easily obtainable or targetable or anything like that, just why would you do that? Why would you even bother putting Weavile in the game?
Yeah, exactly.
Or you...
it's
just so stupid.
Why would Weavile be on a tropical island? It's an ice Pokemon.
It doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
No.
You'll be getting no justifications from me.
I think this was the sort of thing they sort of put it in randomly and they didn't actually think about if someone wanted to do this. Not. I don't know the answer. I don't know what the thought process was.
I mean, a lot of this comes back to like it's the same thing with the whole Phoebus thing, right? why would they decide that it has to be so obnoxiously difficult to obtain Phoebus in a certain game? It comes down to like why would you make it's a conscious decision to make. It's not like it's a weird byproduct of the way you made your game. No, it's a conscious decision to make him have 4 fucking fishing spots that randomize every day. That's your choice that you made.
That's a good point.
Why would you make that choice? The same, like, it's very perplexing.
For the record, I don't like Weevil. I do like Sneasel though. I think
Sneasel's pretty cool.
I think Sneasel's original sprites in particular are really cool.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat because I know your rival in Gold had a Sneasel, and I remember seeing it and being like, "Holy shit, that Pokemon's so cool!" And I dunked on him in battle, and I was like, "Ha, big little idiot,
you dumb little boy."
You silly little boy. I was a very big fan too of, and I assume everybody did this, I just want to make sure, naming your rival something really fucking stupid.
Oh yeah.
So that whenever like he walks in, it's like, "Hey, idiot." They're like, "Oh, there's my grandson, idiot."
Oh, there's my grandson, Piss Man. I
love it.
Absolutely love it. I can't remember ever not giving my rival a funny name.
Once I did everything with the default names. Like I was called Gold or whatever the default was. He
that's
was
fine
called
too.
Something else. Yeah, but it wasn't nearly as fun.
Now,
yes, I got two other ones. This is just for sort of other games that aren't really part of any particular generation. So the first one is in Pokemon Stadium, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
Then if you wanted to get Amnesia Psyduck, which was a very desirable Pokemon and move combination to have, you had to get every single Pokemon into the Hall of Fame, which means obviously beating the Elite Four with every single Pokemon in the game in your party. So if you were to do it like every time with 6 unique Pokemon, you have to do it 26 times. And of course, nobody is going to do it with completely unique Pokemon. So you're going to have to be farming the Elite Four like probably upwards of 35, 40 times in order to get your Amnesia Psyduck. So I hope it's worth it. That's
holy shit. And also like Amnesia is like it sort of seems like a signature move for Psyduck as well. I didn't know about this one actually.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these just seems like byproducts of where the reward was not suitably matched to the time or effort required to do it. But again, these are things that they can solve. These are conscious choices. This is what makes them so weird, you know.
There's something cool in Pokemon Stadium though, which is when you beat the Elite Four, which is fucking hard by the way in Pokemon Stadium. But because all your Pokemon have to be on the same level, which makes it a bit more difficult. I'm pretty sure someone in there has a Mewtwo. But when you do, you get a Pokemon, and it's one of the Pokemon where there's only like one chance to get, like you can get a starter Pokemon. I think there's a random chance to do it, but like whenever you do it, you get a free Pokemon, and it can either be like Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, or it could be like Hitmonlee, Hitmonchan, or an Eevee. Like it's ones that you get a Pokemon that that you might have be locked out from, or there might only be one of.
Yeah, like that wouldn't otherwise be obtainable. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's what I meant to say. Which I think is really cool.
That is cool. That's cool. And that makes sense. Unlike gating Amnesia Psyduck when you're behind registering 151 different Pokemon. This is very silly.
I can't wait till we play Pokemon Stadium together. It's going to be fun.
Oh, yes. I remember my friend used to have Pokemon Stadium. I used to go over to his house after school and we would play Pokemon Stadium. I loved it.
Good shit.
The next one I've got, I'm just going to make it bigger just because I just realised the text is actually quite small. And basically, Zigzagoon, who I don't have any particularly strong feelings for or against, there was this thing called the Pokemon Box, which I think was something on the GameCube that you would put Pokemon from your Game Boy Advance, because there was the cable that went from Game Boy Advance to GameCube. and you could store. It was like the storage system. So you could store Pokemon in the Pokemon box.
Oh,
and
okay.
by storing certain numbers of Pokemon, you would receive rewards. And if you had to put 100 Pokemon into the box in order to get an extreme speed, a Zigzagoon with extreme speed on it, which was the only way of getting that move onto that breeding line, until in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, not even Sun and Moon, but Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon added it into the list of moves that it could learn by breeding. So up until like 2 years ago, if you wanted to get a Lagoon, which is, I'm pretty sure that's the name of the evolution from Zigzagoon,
Linoon,
with extreme speed on it, Linoon, sorry, with extreme speed on it, you had to fucking find somebody who had put 100 Pokemon into the Pokemon box and obtained the Zigzagoon with extreme speed and like trade it from them, or do it yourself, and then trade it through the 7 different levels of fucking Pokemon storage systems in order to get it into the current game. So fuck that. I
think this is a good one to end on, because I think this is a good example of one that is probably an oversight. I mean, it's not something that most people developers would have thought about. Like, how do we get people to have a Linoon with extreme speed on it?
Yeah. I think that's absolutely not an example of it's a conscious choice that they've made. It's like, just Zigzagoon and you can have extreme speed.
You must earn it.
Yeah, this is another one I highly recommend to actually end on this. Thank you, Ryan, for making the thread that inspired this and for coming up with all of the ideas that I covered. In that thread, there's a lot more that I didn't include, mainly because I didn't think they were super interesting, but the whole thread is very interesting, so I highly recommend you go on his Twitter and look it up.
Yeah.
One that is in a similar note, there's something about how Gengar can't learn Sludge Wave since a certain generation, so he's like locked out of one of his best moves just indefinitely because we don't know whether he's going to get it back or not. So there's some really interesting stuff in there, so definitely go and take a look.
Yeah, and we can wrap up on that one. This is a long one, which is good because it's your last one for a while. Which image do we want to go out on? I know.
Which image do we want to go
there's actually no question.
Oh, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
Hang on. Just need to make that a little bit bigger. All right. This is the answer. I hope you can see it.
Oh, yeah. No, that is definitely the end. That's absolutely the correct ending.
But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm not sure if anyone's around yet because it's nearly 10 o'clock. But thanks so much. And we'll have another...
Yeah, it's been a long stream. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining and for chatting. You can see everything on YouTube as well, and you're going to have possibly a special guest next week, which will be very exciting. I will tune in while I'm over. Well, I'll try to. The time difference will probably it's probably fucked, but I will keep in touch with all that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Goodbye.
Thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
See ya.
Bye. Let's stop this.